Welcome to the Grand Design Series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. We're picking up on the 17th of May 1989. Now, 1989 is a fairly significant date in the history of the Soviet Union because it was in August 1989, if I remember correctly, the Berlin Wall came down, and that represented, you can almost say, the end of the Soviet Union. Simply because what happened then is that you had this open traffic between East Germany, West Germany, which would lead to the kind of the separation of the Eastern Bloc countries. That is like Poland, Czechoslovakia, as it was at the time. Romania, Hungary broke away from the Soviet Union. And of course, that then triggered a series of events that would eventually come to fruition around, I think it's 1991, when the Soviet Union basically changed its name back to Russia. And I'm pretty sure that now you've got the Russian Federation. Now, from a gameplay perspective, that means that from now going forward, we can trade with the West as much as we want, because, of course, the significance of the fall of the Berlin Wall was this massive extension of trade. And then that will run through until such time as this series comes to an end, where at the moment my current target is to get to 2025, which is simply the current date, and then that's when it will probably stop. That's assuming nothing goes wrong in between. And then, of course, the big event that could bring the series to an end is the release of the early start DLC, but at the moment we've got no indication whatsoever when that is actually going to happen. Now, I'm going to apologize in advance for this video, simply because we're going to be jumping around a little bit, because I've got because after the disaster in the last part, I've got a few things to catch up with and a few things to need to complete and push forward. Actually, I'm just looking at the city here. It looks pretty, the old tram lines look quite spectacular running as a kind of line across here. At the same time, I need to really start pushing these guys. In fact, we'll speed the game up a bit to get some track laid. So I've got to keep an eye on my train, my actual trains, to make sure that they're laying all the track, because what I really do need is to get this area finished so that I can start bringing up some supplies which will then be used. And of course, we need to get this area finished as well so that we can get this area online. Now, a couple of things that I've done here is the freighter that I brought into here, the container express ship, I've now put it back into this dock because I think we've got more than enough steel in here. And what I've done is I've forced the issue a bit to get some steel into here. Our oil ship is doing okay, but what I really do need to do is get this rail network set up. Now, the first thing I want to do is, well, I'll give you a bit of an update what's going on here. We are pulling this area together, and I've just noticed a mistake which I need to fix. I forgot that I haven't brought this road in. No, don't want that. That's horrible. Get that in there. Actually, we'll bring up the road crew to get that built in. Get that built in as well. So this area is coming together. Now, what I've got at the moment, I'm not sure if there's any actually operating up here at the moment. You can see I've got these trams coming up here. They've got a few workers on. Now, are these batteries that are finished? Actually, if you've got a road connection, you don't have a road connection either. Okay, we need you in there as well. Come in here. What I'm doing really at the moment is just using these to suck up the workforce. Okay, I'll just cancel you. I don't want you actually sat in here because you can't produce anything. But what I want you to do is start coming into this area here. I think what we will do is, I don't want that. Actually, I think what I will do is do something like that to make it a little bit neater, and then that will mean that we can get the workforce into here. This being allocated, no, right, we're gonna get that built as well. Don't want any workforce into here at the moment. So what I want is the workers to just to assist with the building of this area. I think we're use the Stilton. Okay. Well, get that built as well. Now, the one thing I do need to put into here is a power supply. I've got a power supply there, but before I do that, I just want to check. Okay, I might have an issue. Oh no, I've got this junction off here, so I'm okay. What I want to do is put in a power supply here. I want to cover as much of the area as possible. I need to make sure we cover all the tram stations and everything in this area. I will hook you up there, and that should cover everything here. And what I want to do is put in a second one just about there. Just tuck you on this corner here. Now, how many connections have I got here? Where's that? I'm sure one of these has got, oh, they've got the connections here. Got plenty of connections, so what I'm going to do is we're going to go underground. I'm going to hook you up to there. This is because what I want to do is get the maximum capacity. Okay, I think I've got too many underground cables here. Get you to there. Again, we're going to get the helicopter swarm on this because I do want power into this area relatively quickly so that we can start to bring that lot on the line, and then that can go to there, and then you can come out. Not, that wasn't connected. Hopefully that will be. Yep, that's good. You may notice that I'm pausing a little bit more. Ah, it's broken. That's no good. See if we can get. Goes that? That's. Yeah, it nearly messed myself up there. So what that should do is give us the power into this area. We get this built, we're going to suck up the workforce here. Now, I need to do a couple of things. One thing I've done down here is I put in a tram end station because I don't think my trams are spacing very well. The other thing, oh, it's actually finished. Oh, that's pretty good. Is that I put the end station in for the local buses. Let me just find the... right, I can now start to bring these guys online. I do need to sort the fuel stations out, but we'll get to that later on. And then what I want to do is this one's going to be a little bit odd because it's going to come up to here and then go back again. But I think that will get me a better spacing, and more importantly, it will give me some actual what we call it as well. I don't want the bus platform, I want the okay, I think this, and then we're gonna drop you in there as well. And what that will do is make it a little bit more active with respect to maintenance. And what I've done is the route that's going up to my electronics area is the trams are going around that way, and the ones that are going to the actual oil refinery are going the opposite way round. And eventually what we'll do is we will infill this area and fill it in. Okay, we need to put road to there as well. Get that built. So that is what's going on up in this area. While we're here, I'm just going to check my trains because I need to keep these guys as busy as possible. Okay, we've now got this area here. We need that built. I need this connection done as quickly as possible. I just want to check the electrification. Okay. Okay. That means I can now kind of isolate these tracks a bit like that. Build in there. Over here everything is reasonably settled. We've got our train depot here. We are working out this way, but this is relatively low priority. It's these areas which are need to be the highest priority. In fact, I think what I will do is see if I can load in a little bit more where just add you on as well, because what I want to do is get these sorted out as quickly as possible. In fact, I'm going to rename these. This is going to be, I'm going to come up with, try and get a bit of a naming convention. I'm going to put a T in to say it's train, and then we'll call it Indust Supplies. I've been trying to come up with a kind of naming convention which makes it easier to understand what I'm doing. Now, down here, this one is going to be actually probably don't need brackets. Actually, just put just dumber T. Call it domestic supplies, and then what we'll get is here is this is going to be the waste stroke other distribution, but I'm going to call it waste. And that's probably a very good segue into something else somebody actually asked a question about, is moving waste and using these transfer offices. Now, I must admit, I've had a few problems with transfer offices, but I think these are more balanced because you can see that these got 6.5 tons. And what happens is that the distribution office will come in here and pick up a container when it fills up. What is I'm not sure about at the moment is whether this will actually, how this will work with trains, because what I've tended to do in the past, if I come down here, which is a good way to get me down to here, is this is the type of setup I've used for industrial areas where I've got mixed waste, where I kind of separate out most of the stuff. And then because this is a steel mill, I've got a aggregate store here and a metal scrap store here for the separated materials. Now, And what happens is these actually become normal transport and they operate under the aggregate rules, which makes it seems to make it a little bit easier to go. Also, I find by doing it this way, it kind of makes the actual waste collection a lot more compact. And if you're not sure what I mean by the aggregate rules, is that if I come over here, this actual office here that's actually moving the waste from, or the construction waste and the metallic waste from that area I've just shown you. But they're not using waste trucks, they're actually using the hoppers. In fact, it might actually have one that's moving. We've got, okay, let's have a look. Plastics, there we are. Here's an example of what this one's actually, it's also picking up from this area, which is another area set up in the same way. And if I actually show you here, this here, if I show you here, okay, I've messed it up a little bit. If we open this up, and then if I keep that there, and then I click on there, this is Silum Trading. What I do is I set this to say 20% or more. I don't go above 50% because I'm not using full. And what this seems to do is, because we got this as a store here, this is the one that's just been picked up. What the game does is it sends out enough capacity to pick up 100 tons of metal scrap. So what that means is the trains aren't coming out here with like 1 or 2 trucks. It comes out and picks up stuff from this area here. Wow, okay. So that is the current situation while we're here. Oh, okay, these guys have got, looks like they're actually parked up. How's the, okay, you're down to 4, you need an extra job. I get very suspicious when these guys are sat around. These probably need a bit of extra work. Let me just see. Oh, they've got quite a lot here. It's probably things are backed up a little bit because of the what we call it. We do need that built. I'm just trying to get these guys doing a little bit of the groundwork. We will be coming back to this area in a little while. Now, sticking, oops, yeah, we've got a bit of a rail blockage there. And sticking with the theme of the waste collection, what I've done is I've set the waste collection up for our new town. And what I've done is I've put a transfer connector in, but also as a backup, I've actually put in the normal claw dump, which will take the mixed waste. So that is the general situation in this area. I think while we're here, we might as well do what I need to do down in this area. Now, just to give you a bit of an update of what's going on in this area, is I've put in a couple of technical offices for snow clearance and waste management for that over there. And what I've actually done is that this is a single line cut. Okay, what's up with you? What's going on here? You shouldn't be, because what you should be doing is coming in here. Oh, I know. You're self-blocking, aren't you? That should fix him. Yep. Yeah, so what I've done is I've just put a single one-way rail link in here. And what the construction trains is doing is coming in here, going back out there and going back on that, because this is a loop round through here. Now, if you watch the previous part, you'll be aware that I put in a trolley bus line in here. This is a little bit of an experiment. And since then, I've filled in a little bit of the detail. I've got, this is the trolley bus depot here. And then what I've done is I've put in a school here. Oh, that's already there. It's not allocated. Can I get that built? That's too small. Okay, we're going to need to get a local thingy bob up here to finish this off. And what I've also done is planned a heating plant, which is what I want to put in now. I've put this in just to get an idea, gauge the distance, but we don't actually need that heating. So we're just going to get rid of you. Because what I want to do is put the heating plant here, because we've got a source of coal down here. Now, well, because of that measurement, I know that I've got to put the heating plant roughly about here. So it's far enough away not to cause excess pollution. But at the same time, it's also far enough away from here. Thinking is we're going to need a large heating plant. Actually, if I put it there, kind of facing, maybe tilt it slightly that way. And okay, you've got a traffic jam. I know that. Oh well. Oh no. That might not be good. Okay. Oh, while we're here, I just want to show you. I am producing a little. Oh, I was producing a little bit of excess of clothes, which was actually backing up my crops. So what I've actually done is I've gone back to exporting clothes at the moment. If I come to here, we go back a month. Last month, you see, I exported 175 tons of clothes, made 27 million from that. And this is one of the things it's probably worth talking about while we're kind of working our way back up the map, is that when you've got an economy that's running on high happiness and also high loyalty, so we've got an average loyalty of 76% at the moment, and what happens is you get improved productivity, and when you combine that with putting water into your industrial areas, you can get a lot more out of your factories than what the game stats actually says. And probably, again, sorry about this, if I come back to here, what you will see is that this technically can produce 5 tons, but if I show you you look in here, you can see I've got people in here with productivity of 90% or over 110%, 107%. And because the factory is working flat out, that means that when we're actually producing more than 5 tons of fabric per day. And that also applies to this area here. And you can see here I've got 114%, 103%, 107%. So again, this factory is probably producing about 1.5 tons of clothes per day, which means that overall we're producing about 3 tons of clothes per day. Now that is what you're really trying to get to, and it is really brilliant. But this is something that you need to be aware of. When something goes wrong and your happiness drops, and of course if your loyalty drops, that productivity tanks what can be a, yeah, looks like we're picking up another 175 tons of clothes here. Wow. I think we may need to review that and keep an eye on this. Yeah, so yes, you get improved productivity, but if for some reason something goes wrong and your productivity drops, and if you say that your production is marginal and you are relying on that enhanced productivity to support your system, when something goes wrong, things can go wrong big time, and I'm not kidding. Anyway, so what we got here is, let's get back to the heating plant. Of course we're going to go underground. I think we should be able to just, oops, oh come on game, there's got to be, you're not going to tell me that I'm a couple of meters, no, a bit worried then. I thought the game was going to tell me that I was like 2 meters short of and what I've actually done is I've put 2 heat exchangers in the center, because one heat exchanger isn't enough to be able to cover this lot. So we've got that now set up. Now what I've got to do is get the coal up from here with a conveyor. We're not going to use trucks. So what we're going to do is just use the small aggregate. I want to keep this relatively short. At the same time, I want... Actually, if I put you about there, like that. Now comes the fun bit. Now, I did plan to take the conveyor out from here, but it's going to be a bit of a tight fit. Oh, that flashed green. Wow. Okay, it's going to get us across the road, but it's not what I was hoping for. We will. Okay. Right, we're now going to have to... You gotta be kidding me. Okay, it looks like we're going to have to... Gotta get up to there. Okay, let me just... Okay. Hopefully... all that... Is there any way I can push this forward a little bit, a smidge or something? If I... Okay, let's just come up through here, angle you, see how far we can get you. I think if we can get you to about there with a little bit of an angle on it under these cables. Okay, yeah, we can get you like that. Aha. Okay, we're just gonna have to... I think let's build you in with gravel roads here and there, and then getting power out to here will be fairly interesting. Well, get the road crew out to build that. And that will give us there, and that also give us an option for a second heating plant here. And then that's the heating dealt with. The next thing I want to work on is out through here. Let me just check. Make sure Stilton is working on these connections here. Oh, I had to put a travo thingy in here. This is what actually provides the power to the tram lines. Okay, let's get rid of... I'll get rid of that. What's going on here? What is this? Unfinished road. Oh, this is the bridge, isn't it? Yep. Sorry about that. And then... Oh, that's... And then we'll build the bridge up over there. I haven't put the power into there. So what I want to do here is we're going to put some more buildings in, but we're not going to put the dense buildings. We're going to put some more, couple of these in. Around, say 1, 2, 3 that side. 1, 2, 3, 4 that side. We're going to bring the road out this way. Like that. So what that will do is give us some more workforce here, because I think I've provided most of the services. We got university, I've got a kindergarten and school on each opposing corner here. We've got a sports hall, cinema. We've actually got a nice big pub there. Actually, why am I building this then? I think this is a pub as well. So we got a great big pub in the center as well. And as I say, I think we've got everything else here. We've got a fire station here, which we could really do with some workers in, stop things burning down. So we've got culture, we've got sports, we've got medical professions, we've got food, we've got university. All we need now is the state infrastructure, which is in the form of, I think we're just going to go, I'm just going to put a bog standard secret police in, put you behind like this. And the workforce can come from this area here, and then so that's the secret police. And then what we'll do is we'll put the ordinary police just behind, something like that. And again, we'll get that road built. So the idea is this will provide the police and the security, and they will come from this area here. What I've been doing is building up a little bit of a network of footpaths through here as well, so that we can get fairly maximum coverage through this area here. Now the next thing I want to do is we're going to put in the drainage, and now this is finished. We got this little bit of space here. Now we are going to produce a lot of sewage from this area, so what I want to do is tuck you up so that you can connect into there. Now traffic jam here, thank you game. Kind of, I think we'll put another one just in this corner. Now I want a degree of overlap, simply because we're going to get a lot of sewage running out of this area. Now our sewage supply is down here, so I'm going to go underground. Now normally I would put in a kind of a sewage switch down here, but I think because this is going to be so concentrated, and this is the lesson I learned from the other major town that we built, that okay, it's this tunnel above, so it looks like the problem is somewhere around there. Okay, let's just have a look at the terrain. I think there's a dip here, isn't there? Ah, I've got a feeling this is on a mound. Okay, let me just where's the measuring tool? Yeah, this is actually, that's high. Yeah, this is in the wrong place. This isn't going to work because it's actually on the top of a, okay. So what I'm going to need to, oops, get rid of that. We're going to have to put this is probably the lowest point here. Probably is, how high is this bit here? Yeah, what, 0.7, okay. What's the height here? 3.79. We actually dropped on the mod. We dropped the sewage treatment plant, put you in about there at that nice low point. And of course we're going to need to get rid of that. So, I think we run 2 pipelines down like that. You got that first connection there. Ah, okay, yep, going the wrong way. Okay, we're just going to get rid of this one here. Right, so we've got to go from here. Where are you? The only downside when you're working underground is that sometimes you can't actually see that will block, so we'll go that way. Actually, just gonna try and leave that there, just there for the moment. We've got this one will run okay, so that will, those two will run alongside each other. Get this here. I'm trying to be a little bit more tidier with my pipe work nowadays. So that gives me a sewage flow down here, and it also leaves these terminals open. So should we decide to expand that way. So we've now got that there. The next thing I'm going to need to do is plan the water, but I just want to have a quick look round and see what's going on here. Last chance to buy. We got any last chance to buy? I'm just checking to see whether I've got any stuck trains, because I need to keep these trains, construction offices. Yeah, you see, sometimes they're a little bit too efficient. I really, because I need this connection. We need you built there. Get you built there. And what I want to do is we can do a little bit of electrification if it's needed. Okay, that's been electrified. That's been, okay. So that's been electrified out as far as there. Right. And that electrified out. Get this all put together. And we're now going to zip up to this area here and check our train construction office here. Okay, this guy's run out of work. Back into this area here. Bit surprised that he's actually run out of work. Well, we certainly need that built, and we need to start pushing down into this area. I want to go up. There's another area where we got to get some serious work done. Is here. I need that built as well. And then if we get back over to here, I think what we can do is stack up a little bit of work and get this finished. This hasn't been electrified yet, so one thing I am going to need built ASAP is that. In fact, we'll push the priority on that, because the construction trains can't get past here to finish off this if it doesn't get that section done. How are we doing here? Okay, this guy, actually, I think I might have messed up a little bit. Let me just get into, yeah, okay. Because I want this, I do really need this built. Just queue up some work there. I'm going to go up to here. Okay, how's the unemployment in this area? Preferences. Okay, we got quite a lot of unemployment in this area. Okay, this is now finished. It's got power. This is where things will get. Okay, you're coming down there. What is this place called? Going to be called, I think it's going to be this one, isn't it? Yeah, good. So what we want is you to go into there. I think I've just separated one tram. Hate it when it does that. Right, that gets that tram going that way. And what I want is one. So they're both going round. Yeah. You're going there. Okay. Let's check this tram. Stop. Okay, that one's going that way. What we'll do is we'll send you to the depot. I think all the rest are running normally. I think it's just because I messed that one up. Yep. I think what I'm going to need to do is once this area is finished, we're going to have to kind of sort some of these out a little bit. Okay, let me just come here, get these finished. Get these built as well. Oh, we need this built as well. Just get all this built in. We get this all sorted out in the next part, we can bring this to life, and I'll sort the tram stops out off camera. I think we might need some more workforce, so just make sure. Okay, get these out here and get these built. These aren't connected though, so what I'm going to need to do is put an asphalt footpath there. My instinct is you're going to need a connection there, you're going to need a connection there, you're going to need a connection there, connection there. We'll connect up the spine to start with. Like that. Thank you, game. These connections in there and there. Actually, I think what I will do is do that. What that will do is suck up any extra workers, these actual construction positions here. I think this one just let fill up naturally. You're going to need to be a little bit careful though, because I'm not 100% sure you've got the level of coverage that I need at the moment there. Okay, these guys are down to They're not being very, very efficient at the moment. So we've nearly got this done. We are build this area here needs to be electrified, I'm pretty sure. Because I don't think I have. Yep, this needs to be electrified. So can you get? That might not have worked because I think I dragged over the map icon. Yep. Okay. And of course, I think out here we've got the crossover there. So what I'm going to do is just put you in that way, so we can build this backwards. By backwards, what I mean is that we can. I mean, technically, is this all electrified? Let me just check. This is all electrified through here. So what we can do is put in the necessary signals here. Put you in there. Get rid of you. Ah, haha. Okay, that's not finished, so I've kind of messed this up, but I think I can. Oops, that's the tram station. Yeah. Okay. What's going to happen is that this train's probably going to get in here and get stuck, but I can get him out of that by monitoring him rather than change the signals. Wow, could flip the signals very, very quickly. EQ mixed. Mixed. That should allow that to be built. This is finished, so we can just do these signals there. Looks like I'm not going to get the water supply into the new town, but I'm just going to finish off this because I'm aware that I'm running out of time on this video, and I still want to do a number of health checks before we finish. But I think in the next part, a lot of the focus is going to be on getting the trains in here, because technically this now is online, but it's the wrong one because we can't actually deliver anything up to here at the moment. Of course, one thing we are going to need is chemicals, but I can do this by truck. Okay, train waiting too long. Okay, what? Yeah, we've got a little bit of a collision-y thing here. Yeah, I always know that this was this connection here is a little bit of a weak link, but it's not a problem because it's only a service connection to build track more than anything else. We do need to build these in. We are going to need a repair bay up here. Anything else that we... Okay. Can't build that. We're going to need those built. They need to be built. Technically, we've got a connection to here. We can bring fuel into here, but without fire protection, it's going to be a bit problematic. We've got that there. Okay, where are you trying to get to? I think this is the cause of the problem. Okay, you want to work on that. And this guy is... Let's give you help. And then that will release this guy. Let's follow him down. And he will go into here and do the honors very, very quickly. I must admit, I really do like these construction trains. I'll just let him finish this job off. That's been put out, okay. Right, I just want to check the train load on this now. This one, yeah, you're down to 2 again. Over to here. I'm going to need that built. I think what we've got now is we need to build into here, and we also need to build into there as well, so we just queue those up. Anyway, I'm aware that I'm running out of time on this video, and the last 2 have been overly long, so this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode, hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.